We love the little EcoFlow, but it's had its time. We need to move on.
Hi, we're Ian and Julie. Follow us on our tiny homestead and our debt-free project of a lifetime, the building of our shipping container home here in the Pyrenees, and all of this alongside our full-time jobs.
Hi there, welcome back. I'm here up at the plot all on my own today. Julie is busily preparing the house for clients that arrive on Wednesday. I've still got a few bikes to get done. As you know, we run a cycling business here in the Pyrenees, the French Pyrenees, during the summer. And in our off time, which I've got a half day today, we're up at our off-grid plot, basically building our garage workshop and soon to be our house. So today's project, you saw in our last video that myself and Julie installed the solar panels on the garage annex. Also, we doubled up on the panel on the ECOWORTHY solar tracker. And that tracker has been working perfectly from the day we installed it, probably about 4 or 5 months ago now. And that has been working with an EcoFlow, 1 kilowatt EcoFlow. And that has been powering our garage, the alarm, the video cameras, everything non-stop now since we installed that about 4 or 5 months ago. This little machine here has been working non-stop now for probably about 4 months. So it is time really to get our full solar system installed here in the garage workshop, particularly in the tech room here. Now I've had a good tidy out of the tech room. It was getting a bit messy anyway. But just to give me a lot of space so I can move around the batteries and the inverter and hopefully get them on this wall in some sort of order. It'll be good to turn off that little EcoFlow and have it for emergencies only. And just to get the power up, and you better use bigger tools like my table saw, my planer and things like this. Here is my box of bits for my new solar system. I've collected this over the last few months, and it basically stems from this Sofar solar 6 kilowatt hybrid inverter. Now, it's not really the right bit of kit for the job, but I've used the Sofar solar 6 kilowatt inverter probably for about 3 years now at my current home. And that unit, after about 18 months, had a bit of a wobble. Now, I sent the unit back to who I bought it from, and they basically went silent, and I didn't hear anything from them for quite a few months. So I contacted Sofar Solar directly, which went all the way to Hong Kong, and then bounced back to their in-country representative that just happens to be up the road in Toulouse, it's not too far at all from us. Now he, because we were so close to him, got really involved, demanded Sofar Solar send us a brand new unit, which they did. Within a week. I got a brand new unit installed and I was back online. And then probably 6 months later, so we're now sort of 1 year into the first failure, 1 year into it, I received this unit here from the original company I bought it from. So instead of repairing my existing one, or my original one, they just sent me a brand new one. But Sofar Solar had already sent me a replacement. So I have a complete spare unit here that I may as well just use here at the off-grid plot. I'm going to try and get it to work off-grid because it should be a grid-tied system. So I've got to work that out as I go through the project. The batteries that I'm going to be using, Pylontech, US 2000Cs. So it's about a 2.4 kilowatt battery, and it has its own built-in BMS. And they've been working perfectly for the last 3 years. So I've got 2 of those. I've got the inverter. I've got various switch boxes and protections. So my plan is to have the inverter here. I'm going to probably put some ventilation in the top here. This place gets quite warm. Right, so I have sort of measured this up. Let's have a look. Do I put it level? I don't need it level. Drop it down. Well, I need to clip him. No, I'll put it level and then it all looks neat, doesn't it? So I'm now stretching these cables up under the roof. There it is. God, this is hot. Right. Okay. Oh, that was a tie through. Another pull cord there, that would other earth. So it's now a matter of getting the other ends through there. It's a bit of a backwards way of doing it, but I'm going to try. There we go. Just push all of this through the other side, and then I don't have to cut it too short. This is the other side. I've actually put the black one all the way through the conduit, but yeah, the red and the earth is next. So now I'm just going to get these in line with this junction box, well, not junction box, combiner box. I'm going to bring my cable through there. And then that clicks in there. That screws on. And then that's my positive. If you open the door, positive to positive, the black to the blue. Okay, so now I can safely terminate my the ones on the solar end, plug those in, and then I should be able to check the voltage just here. Julie made it.
He sets me to work straight away.
Yeah, we forgot we needed to seal this back wall before I start going any further. So I've just taken off the inverter for now. I'm not going to take those boxes off, so we'll just have to seal around them. But it's just a bit of a clear varnish. So if we ever do mark the wall, you know, it will just wipe off instead of staining.
Well, I've managed to get 2 walls done, sealed in the back of the tech room. It's getting late, it's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to drag Ian home because I still have tea to cook tonight and I'm hungry.
Hi there, good afternoon. It's the next day. Julie did drag me away last night for some tea. But again, it's the afternoon. All morning I've been preparing bikes for our clients that arrive tomorrow. But they are doing their own thing, going out riding in the mountains locally. I just give them a GPS route and they follow that, get some lunch, coffee, and then come back late afternoon. So Julie got me some vents yesterday when she was on her travels. I'm now going to just cut a slot out of here, which is directly above the inverter. So any heat should come up and through this vent. I'll then cut a subsequent vent, a matching one, the other side on top of this ceiling, and put a ductwork in. And that'll just be a free vent just to pump air, not pump it, but just allow the air to be drawn outside. I didn't film too much of the wiring because I'm thinking through it and I don't want to get caught up with the filming and everything else. So I think I'm near enough there. I'm trying to do it in a logical order. So I've got my 2 strings This one is my solar tracker and this one is my roof borne panels. So at the moment my solar tracker I have got connected up and all the way through this, so it's now being protected, and it's coming out on these two cables here, which will be string 1 into the inverter, but that is now going off temporarily to the EcoFlow, so that is what's powering this at the moment. So string 2 isn't connected yet, the other ends are just dangling over the roof, but that comes up. I've got it protected with a fuse here, the breaker is turned off, and I've got the anti-lightning and all the rest of it protection, and this is all now earthed down onto the main board. The other two cables I've got here are for the battery, so they will connect underneath here, and I've just got to move a bench just in front here to rest the batteries on for now until I receive the rack system for the batteries. Gosh, it is very warm in here, I must say. Even with my little ventilation, that's not really doing much at the moment. But I've also got the main ventilation on, which is dragging the hot air out of the garage. But it'll be nice if we can get this AC working. So another reasonably late night, but I will see you tomorrow hopefully once I've picked up the clients, got them on the bikes, and I'll be back down here because I just want to get this system up and running. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hi, welcome back. Next day, same scenery. All I've done is basically get all my cables ready here. So these are my solar, my load, and my battery cables and the communication and earth. That's all ready to put on the inverter so I can start basically connecting them all up. It's a lot easier to do it without the inverter on, but I'll just try and line them up. They're all going through this conduit. The battery ones are going to go straight through and sit on that stool or bench, temporary bench like I mentioned before. So I'm going to get the inverter back on and then start, hopefully terminating these, and I'm going to stick the plugs on the ones outside and see if we get any volts. So I just made up a couple of aluminium spacers. Just to put on top of them. I'm just terminating the earth with a bit of a lug. Well, I haven't filmed this last couple of hours basically because I was getting in a bit of a mess. I've never used this system off grid, so as I said before, I think we have this exact same system at our house, and but that's grid tied. So basically the mains is coming in and I turn the unit on and it will stay on just with the mains. So I don't have mains power here. I have I've plugged this in to an EcoFlow and actually checked that it does turn on, but of course the power goes the other way as well, normally into the grid, but the EcoFlow doesn't like that and it just shuts off, of course, because it's not an input that it's looking for. It's outputting that 240 volts. The input is on the back, and you can't do that with that bit of kit. I found that. So I've been going backwards and forwards trying to get this working, checking all the dip switches, all the functions on here to see whether I can just get it off grid. Now, the cable I got for the BMS, the battery management system, which connects the inverter to the batteries, has got two RJ45 plugs on. Now, I thought that was a bit weird because it's not connecting into the CAN RS485 port, which is the normal communications port for the batteries. I looked throughout the box, it's not there. I've got two of these RJ45 cables, and on one of them it says inverter, and the other battery. And that's what I had plugged in. So I went home, pulled mine apart and checked, and basically on the battery side, yes, it's an RJ45, but on the inverter side, it is an RJ11, a smaller version. It wasn't in the box, and I thought, where do I put my cables? In a cable box. I chuck all my spare bits and bobs in a cable box. Pulled that off the shelf, rummaged all the way through it, and lo and behold, there was the exact cable that I'm after. Now this should do it. So that goes in there, and it's going to connect into the RS485 port. And this one now connects into this one here. Press those on and they should talk to each other. So I only have to turn one on. It turns on. I'm going to peel this off now. I do have an alarm. The alarm's gone off. It's looking for the on-grid, so that's flashing. But straight away I've got the photovoltaic panels show up, and 3 bars of the battery, which I think is about 50%. It's now gone off-grid. So the battery it's running off the battery now. I'm just seeing if there's any solar. It's a bit late at night at the moment. What time is it? It's about 8 o'clock. So the panel is still tracking it. But if that cloud comes out the way, I might be able to get some more.
Just after finding, I was hoping to install his solar. I don't see it breaking the clouds at all. What a day to install his solar.
Good morning, yet another day, and we have finally got some sun. So since I've been doing this solar project, the sun went down when just I was ready to test it, and then yesterday full on fog for the whole day. So we've got sun, we've got solar, and now I want to finish off the installation and get it plugged into my main board. So with a single panel on the EcoFlow, I've got 372 watts at the moment. So these are 550 watt panels. It's in the morning. I mean, it is tracking it, but it's first thing in the morning. So that's with a single panel. So when I've connected the main solar unit to the board, I can then reconnect the second panel, and we'll see what we get from that. So a bit of an update. The batteries all work now. Basically with my the BMS cable, the correct cable, that all works. I've still only got one string connected because the other one's going to the EcoFlow. I've yesterday went to town and bought a big breaker. So this is a mains breaker. Normally the grid comes in, and that's what basically turns off from the grid if you were on an electricity meter. So this side here would go directly to the meter, and then that would go onto your main board. So I've just put that is the output of the inverter, and I'm getting 240 volts there. And basically everything works with the testing with this test switch. So the big test is to see whether my panels are actually working. So I'm going to turn on my batteries. Now, one thing I do need to do, these batteries connect directly to the inverter, these cables just here. I do want to put a DC breaker in between those cables and the inverter, but I'm going to wait until all of these are all in a rack. So when this rack is installed, I'll know the height and everything else, and then I'm going to put a big DC breaker just to isolate the batteries from the inverter, just in case I have any problems. Well, I just spent another wasted 30 minutes. I couldn't get the PV panels to actually register. I checked the output voltages on both, and this one with the one panel had the 50 volts, well 48, and this one with the 4 panels was about 180 volts. So I'm assuming that would come straight into the bottom of the inverter, but I was getting absolutely nothing on the top here. And yeah, I forgot to turn the inverter on. So even though the batteries power up the inverter into the off-grid status just here, you still have to turn the inverter on physically to allow the inversion process to take the PV volts and put it into AC. So yeah, that was a bit of a wasted amount of time. So now I'm going to go outside and I'm going to connect the second panel up on the solar tracker. 94 volts. Come on, it can't be a minimum. I'm not getting any power. Oh, that's so annoying. It says here the startup DC voltage is 120 volts. And then the operating voltage of the MPPT is 90 to 580 volts. And I've only got 94 volts there. So it's not registering it to start up. Right, I've had another little thought about it. And what I've done, I've put my solar tracker in series with my roof panels. So it's a single stream. I've just done it here. I was able to just disconnect the negative, connect it to the positive of the roof, and then put them into the combiner. I tried to combine it, but it didn't like it. Parallel voltages didn't like that. So we're in series. It's not like, hopefully it won't be permanent and I'll be able to sort out my number 2 string just here. But at the moment, that is running just under 2 kilowatt. So with the solar tracker and the roof panels, and it's cloudy as well. So I'm going to leave it like that, see how it goes. Just worried whether the 4 panels on the roof, this may think it's in shade because it's a lot less power than the other 2. Again, drop a comment in below if I'm just talking crap. But this does scan all the different panels, or supposedly it does, and adapts the MPPT. So we'll see if that works. But so far, over 2 kilowatt now. So I'm pretty happy with that. So maybe crisis averted for now. But yeah, it's messed up all my wiring now. It's not too neat, but it'll do for now. Right, nearly got the Wi-Fi running with this. So I'll show you that if it works. So this is the Wi-Fi dongle. So that is basically on a RS232. Can't remember now. But yeah, this will stick up underneath here like that. There we go. I'll put a couple of screws in. Well, that worked out a lot easier than I thought. And we're getting 2.56 kilowatt off 3.2 kilowatts a panel. Right, it's time to tidy up some of these sockets. So I'm going to put in 2 very small rated 2 amp sockets just here. One for the Wi-Fi unit and the other one for the alarm. And then they'll just be on their own circuit and just out of the way basically. $170, just cutting the conduit length and plates. Get that bit finished off. On my razors. You're kidding me, are you? Right, I've finally got the solar install all done. Feels good to get it done. But what I've found is it doesn't sort of match what we need. As I said, this unit was near enough a freebie. They sent it in replacement of one that broke, but I'd already got a replacement for that. So I wanted to use something I already had. Now, because this is a grid-tied hybrid inverter, it's supposed to be tied to the grid, of course. but it has an emergency power source, or EPS it's called, and basically when it loses the grid, it goes over to the EPS, and that's supposed to run your freezers, your fridges, your communications, all low-level stuff, up to 3 kilowatt. And that's what I've connected it to, because you can't connect to the grid output port. But it's all good for lights, everything else, and low-level stuff. But as soon as I tried my miter saw or the Hoover, that surge of power basically trips out the inverter. It can't handle it. And now with the EcoFlow, even though it's only 1 kilowatt, has the ability to take that surge on. So I can use, at least I can use my miter saw and Hoover and everything via this, but it's not what we want for the future. So I'm going to have to look around and search for some sort of proper off-grid inverter that can work well with the Pylontech batteries. It's so simple to install and operate. That's the only trouble, so I'm a bit annoyed at that. But I've got extra sockets in now, so I'm near enough all bolted up and ready to go. I've got a couple of low 2 amp circuits here for my Wi-Fi and my alarm, and then I've got a little range of standard workshop outlets just around here. So that is another thing to tick off the list, solar install. I've got my solar tracker working properly by sort of putting it in series here. So if that works out fine, then I'll just reroute this cabling here and make it all neat. But I think that's job done. So thanks for watching. It's been a bit of a long one, this one, just trying to get everything connected up and trying to think about it as well. But please stick any ideas or for inverters, why this is tripping out, anything in the comments, and I read them all, and I just need to get some more info basically. So we'll see you in the next video, hopefully getting more jobs done and ticked off. We'll see you then. Bye for now.